Meeting to order. Mr. Raleigh.
Okay, so let's start with roll call vote here. Roll call. Maria Okpara,
Here.
Rick Raleigh, I'm present. Wilson So, Dennis Bender, and Christopher Nunez.
Here.
All right, if you all will stand and please join me for the pledge. Flag is over here on the right, my right. Okay, please join me in the pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated.
Please remain standing for a few seconds.
Sorry.
At this time, we would like to pause in a moment of silence to remember Lawrence Andrews III, Apple Valley High School sophomore, who passed away last week. Thank you. Public comments. Board Bylaws 9323 meeting conduct is available at the sign-in table. Whenever a member of the public initiates specific complaints or charges against an individual employee, the board president shall inform the complainant of complaint procedure. Kylie, do we have any public comments pertaining to closed session?
We do not have any public comments pertaining to closed session at this time.
If we have no cards for public comment, we shall go into closed session. I need a motion to go into closed session.
I'll move the item.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Closed session topics.
The closed session will be on Conference on Litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9A, current litigation, 7 cases, CIVDS 1813952, CIVDS 19071.72, CIVDS 2011183, CIVDS 2022296, CIVDS 2023366, CIVSB 2103396, CIVSB 2111301, Government Code Section 54954.5, Section C, and 54956.9, Section D, Section 2, and E, and I. Anticipated litigation, 3 cases, 2018-19-07, 2020-2021-05, 2020-21-07. So we go to closed. We'll be right back. Calling the meeting to order. We do not have any action taken in closed session. The board may approve the agenda as is or add and/or pull items from the consent agenda for discussion and/or action. We need an
Move for approval.
any second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Kylie, do we have any public comments?
We do. The first topic is on the resolution. There are 3 cards that go with this topic.
Thank you. As provided on our public comments card, speakers are requested to limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. If more than one person wishes to speak on the same topic, subsequent speakers should limit their remarks to new information only. Public comments shall be limited to a maximum of 20 minutes per item. In a situation where we have additional public comments and have exceeded the 20-minute maximum time per item, members of our community will be able to submit electronic public comments to Kylie_Cordell. Kylie spelled K-I-L-E-E _CAUDELL at avusd.org by Wednesday, October 27 at 12 p.m. These public comments will be publicly posted and distributed to all members of the Board of Trustees. An information card with this information is available at the sign-in table. First topic is the resolution. Jane Krupal. June, thank you so much.
I have a gift for you guys. It's from In-N-Out. May I come up on the stage?
Huh?
They're French fries.
Take
There's
them
no
to
bomb.
Kylie, all the way to Kylie, all the way to.
Just a little encouragement there.
Go ahead.
Friday, Apple Valley Unified School District put out a resolution that some are getting excited about. So is Apple Valley Unified School District now going to stand up for its students, staffs, and teachers? Well, up to this date, your only response has been, to most of us, that you agree with the parents, but sorry, your hands are tied and that you'll lose money. At the last board meeting, the gates were changed so we couldn't come in and pray by the tree. Strategically, we were placed in a smaller room, even though you knew a large crowd was coming, as confirmed by the many officers you brought in, separated the parents so that you didn't have to look at our faces, and had sound issues all night so no one could hear the speeches. Trinae, what did you say to the over 300 scared and concerned parents at night? That's right, I remember, no comment. Maria, first impression, first board meeting I ever attended, you crumpled up a piece of paper a parent gave to you, left it on your desk the whole meeting for us to see, and on the live stream video, you are heard saying, "This is bullshit." Rick, you were the only one who came up to me and another parent and appreciated our speeches until you were whisked away by another board member for talking to us. Bender, last meeting, you briefly took off your mask, then pressed by the parents, but then quickly put it back on like the good little soldier you are, and said it's the mandate. Lopez, your speech pandered to us but lacked backbone. So you yelled at a parent and told them to shut up. Was so outrageous the meeting was stopped and all of you walked out. Schlosser, it's known you like to make fun of the parents at the district office with other district employees, and last board meeting, you were looking at your phone and writing on a notepad the whole time. The only pushback I have seen thus far has been against the parents. Your so-called resolution doesn't even go far enough on every single whereas and be it further resolved. Your resolution lacks any backbone and is asking permission from the state to be more clear on its mandated guidance. Basically says you will do what the state says once it's mandated. You know what standing up and a real resolution looks like? I actually have one here. It's from Lucerne Valley. It contains seven pages of statements, including law cited, education code, scientific peer-reviewed studies, proving and solidifying their stance. Not a 3/4 page of basically a permission slip. Okay? Hear this, Apple Valley Unified School District. Until you give us a resolution like Lucerne that truly stands up for its students and teachers it represents, we will not stop. And if Apple Valley Unified School District decides not to fight for our kids and teachers, we will fight with all our resources available, including every legal option to get rid of and replace people who will.
Thank you. Melissa Wetzel. Melissa Wetzel.
Right. Hi, Trinae. My name is Melissa Wetzel with Stand Up San Bernardino County. I also work in collaboration with Freedom Angels, and I come here representing my family and myself. I would like to address the adoption of Resolution 2122-05 regarding COVID-related public health guidance. A lot of people are all like happy about this resolution, but I don't think they read it because frankly, this resolution is trash. This resolution asks the state and public health officials, the same people that this board shifts all the blame to, it's asking them for permission and help regarding COVID restrictions, which you already know will not happen. This resolution contends that if and when the vaccine requirements are implemented by the state and or health officials, this board will continue to comply. To the public, you guys, hi. Do not be fooled by this. This is a ploy by the board to get us off their backs. It's pathetic. Again, all that this resolution says is that this board will comply when the vax becomes mandatory, and that this board is asking permission for local control, asking permission. Where are the strong men on this board? Where are the strong women? All of us are over here looking at this mess over there. It's time to stop asking for permission. Discrimination and segregation must end now. Freedom must be restored. Freedom must be restored now. Please stand in solidarity with us and stop complying. Thank you.
Thank you. Shark Simpson.
All right. Good evening, board. Thanks for holding this special meeting for us tonight. And good evening to all you American patriots out here fighting for our children, fighting for our teachers, and upholding our Constitution. It takes a lot of courage to do that. Make no mistake, our Constitution and our freedom is under attack, and every single one of you up there know that. I know we got a couple patriots up there, and I know we have a deputy that served quite many years, so I know you all have taken an oath before, but. Any elected official takes an oath, and that oath should be amongst many other standards, but it's also to uphold and defend the U.S. Constitution. I'll introduce myself at the end and make sure I have some time here. I'm here to really talk about the resolution, and I agree that a lot of the words are feel-good words for these parents to think that you're on their side. And unfortunately, you state in one of the paragraphs that you understand the crucial harm that this does to the social development, mental health, and well-being and physical well-being of our children. The second to last paragraph there states that basically you're willing to jeopardize the health and well-being of our children if the state issues or imposes this, which we know they will impose this. I agree. You guys, please stand up for us. This contradiction here, it relates exactly what I was just saying there. I'm assuming that you're going to be outlining our options tonight, as that was the reason for this special meeting in the first place. It's been proven that masking our kids does harm to them. That's a fact. You guys agree to that. You put that in the resolution tonight. You agree to that. I'm looking for one of you tonight to make a motion. That motion is to make mask wearing at schools an option, a parental choice, effective immediately. Take a vote tonight. Take a vote tonight, or at the latest, the next board meeting. And at that point, we'll know as your governing body where you stand. It's time for us to stand up, and that will dictate our direction moving forward. No more nonsense resolutions trying to take the easy way out. You have the authority to do this. As I stated earlier, I understand the difficulties, that you guys are facing. There's no easy way out. I ask that each one of you take a hard look at our Constitution and let that guide you. I respectfully ask each one of you, including Trinae, in your closing comments tonight to answer a question for us. Do you personally support vaccine mandates and the maskings of our students at school? I said I would introduce myself. My name is Shane Simpson. I'm a very proud resident of this beautiful desert. I have been since 1986. I've been a fireman for 17 years. I've been a medic for 15. If any of you need any further clarification of why people should not be getting this vaccine or why our kids should not be masked, please, I'm here to talk to you. I see it every single day. Not everybody's having complications, but there are major life-altering complications out there in the field that I'm seeing. And you can also check the CDC website. It's on there. There are hundreds of thousands of adverse reactions and life-debilitating injuries that these people are never going to be the same again. So that's one of the reasons. But if you want to talk further, I'm all ears. Definitely, looking forward to talking to you guys. You 5 can help put an end to this.
Thank you. Matthew Baumer.
Good evening, board and community. My name is Matthew Balmer, and I have 2 kids in the district here. I'm here to just talk briefly about the curriculum that's being snuck underneath a lot of people's noses. I asked Ms. Nelson the first day of school about the critical race theory. It's kind of the buzz lightning rod term. And as it's disguised in the California Department of Education curriculum, it's called transformative social and emotional learning. Okay. They're not going to call it what it is. They're going to call it apple pie and try to butter it up. And so I just want to bring that to everyone's attention to look that up for yourself. It's called T-cell, and it really embraces critical theory, not just critical race theory, but critical theory and all the demonstrative, pernicious, and insidious, destructive principles that they're trying to push into our classrooms. Social justice, diversity, equity, inclusion. These are all feel-good buzzwords to get us thinking that we should follow along. And it's if you look at the curriculum under agency and belonging, they have identity, inclusiveness, exclusive groups, inherent biases, and so forth. It's all stratified by grade level and structured so that by the time they get into high school or are young adults, they're changing their behavior to basically further segregate society and be discriminatory. Okay, this is reverse discrimination. It's teaching our kids to be inherently discriminatory, self-discrimination, self-segregation. It's wrong, it's sick, and I hope that the teachers still have some latitude. I know not all teachers are pushing this, but it's there. And as parents, we need to talk to our kids and find out who's who and what's what. So on that note, I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. On the resolution, I agree with the three previous speakers. It's a weak resolution, and precedent is a poor basis for law. Okay, it's poor logic, and the idea that just because we have 10 diseases that we currently force kids to take to go to school is a lame excuse to add another one to the list. Okay, especially for something that's no more really serious than the flu, okay? Especially for kids. So my takeaway is stand up or step down, all right? If you're not prepared to protect our kids, you need to get out of the way. I'm prepared to go to jail. I'm prepared to die for my family, for this country. And if you're not, you need to move on, all right? Because I bet most people in here would pay your bail if you went to jail standing up for our kids, all right?
Thank you. Heather Walton. Heather Walton.
Hi there. My name's Heather Walton. My husband and I have a junior at Apple Valley High School. My concern is the parking situation in the visitor parking lot. Last Friday, my son was damn near hit because parents and other people don't know how to drive through that parking lot. They think it's a racetrack. I have tolerated it for 3 years. This year is the worst. Where are the school police? You've got them hanging out here at Granite. How about having some over at Apple? This is ridiculous. I've got a letter here that I printed out and a rendering of the visitor parking lot. I would like all of you to take a look. In light of that young man that just lost his life, this does not need to happen. I already lost my brother 26 years ago. Mr. Bender, he was one of your students, Christopher Powell, 16 years old, killed in a car accident. I'll be damned if I'm going to lose my one and only son because people don't know how to drive and respect other kids. I'm sorry if I'm upsetting some of the parents in here. I am not going to stand for this. You know, how many of you have lost a sibling? It hurts.
I didn't lose a sibling, but I watched that kid out there die the other day because I was on that field there. So yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I was there.
It's not right. Coach Police is doing his best to try and get this situation worked out. I've already spoken with him. And hey, I don't have them down here. I've got them right here. This is not right. Absolutely not right. Both cars were not even paying attention to each other. They were too busy probably looking down here. And yeah, I am going to say some of the kids that walk out are doing this, or they're like this. You know, so please, guys, have your kids pay attention. Please. We don't need any more funerals or accidents. These are our babies. That one up there, he's our one and only. I don't have any more. Okay? Please. Thank you. Really, really look into this matter. And another thing real quick, I want to know why the barn is not being used as it should at Apple Valley High School. Mr. Penfold spent his life over there raising the money to get a new barn built, and it's being used as a storage unit. My son
Thank
comes
you.
home and tells me every day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Krista Eats. Krista Eats. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Krista Gates, and I have taught at Apple Valley Unified School District for the last 11 years. I have personally been affected by COVID. I lost my father. I actually just recovered from COVID. My husband was hospitalized. I came to speak on the topics of freedom and choice. I'm a Christian. I will not be forced to do something that's against my religious beliefs. I'm not saying I'm against vaccines. I'm saying I'm against people being forced to do something that should be a personal choice. It breaks my heart to think of all the district employees that could potentially lose their jobs if we are not vaccinated. In regards to the walkout, our union president asked us not to participate, saying that she would hate to see someone disciplined or fired. That's fair tactics. Just so you know, our district employees would have been participating in that walkout. More importantly, let's stop calling this a vaccine. By definition, a vaccine prepares an active acquired immunity. That's the key word. This is not a vaccine, it's an injection. You can still get COVID if you receive this injection. This would not be a vaccine. This would be a forced injection for employees to keep their jobs that they love to do, a job that provides them with medical insurance for themselves and their families. And what is your reasoning behind the weekly COVID testing? During the last 11 years of teaching for the district, I've never been asked to be drug tested. It wasn't part of my hiring process, nor was it part nor have I known a single school employee who've gone through a single drug test. If COVID testing is required to keep the students safe, why are you not having employees submit to drug testing as well? By the way, I'm very concerned of how COVID testing is being handled within the district. Employees are placed into a room with their colleagues. All their personal information is out in the open for everyone to hear and witness, while we are swabbed inside our noses in front of each other. These tests are ineffective. There are countless false positives and negatives. And why are you only testing the unvaccinated? I know many vaccinated district employees who have gotten sick from COVID. Only testing the unvaccinated is discrimination. If I test positive, my daughters have to stay home and lose their education. My students suffer. They don't have the consistency of their teacher here. All students missed out on a real school year last year. Here's what I ask of you, board members. Stand up for freedom to choose. It's our constitutional right to make our medical choices for ourselves and for our children. I ask you to consider how you are testing your employees. Are you following HIPAA law?
Thank you.
Are you protecting our person? Can I please finish?
Thank you. Thank
Can I
you.
finish?
Your time's up. Submit the rest.
Can I finish? Who is the master? Can I finish? I have 3 more sentences. I ask you to consider how you're testing your employees. Are you following HIPAA laws? Are you protecting our personal medical information? If you're going to test us all, or stop testing. Something has to change. Stop this divide. Stop the threats. Stop the mandate. We stood and pledged to the flag. I ask that we honor in those words that we spoke for liberty and justice for all. Thank you for your time.
Josh Mallet. Josh Mallet.
That was a quick walk. I can't move it. This is more for the people. For all the parents who showed up tonight, thank you. You actually care about your children. We have around 10,000 parents in this Apple Valley Unified School District, and we are at capacity in this building, which is 318. 318 is cute, but we should have thousands of people attempting to get into this room. And out of the 318 people, I only see a couple masks being worn, which means we're in a room full of Let's Go Brandon. My message is simple, and it's a political message because our school children have become political pawns. Show up and vote. Show up and vote. We have witnessed the importance of local and state politics. We have been ran by the wrong people. They will run us into the ground. And if Newsom, Biden, and the Democrats get their way, they will turn us into Australia. Australia is currently on a full lockdown. They're not even allowed to exit their home. Let's not become Australia, China, or North Korea. I promote freedom, and God bless America. Show up and vote. Show up and vote the right people in. Let's go, Brandon.
Craig Taylor. Craig Taylor.
Wow, everybody was filling out them cards out front, so I just filled one out. Here I am. Man, you guys are like shaking up here, and now I see why. All right, so we saw that 3-hour YouTube deal about the last board meeting. Atrocious, absolutely atrocious. I'm going to share what I got to experience. I believe just before that, my daughter, honor roll student, all of our kids are the best in the world, right? My kid's pretty damn good. She'll sock you in the throat and get straight A's. And I'm not kidding about the throat. So she gets pulled out of class. Pat, you know all about this story. Honor roll student going to the disciplinary office. I was an asshole in school. And my kid didn't deserve to go to the discipline office. She didn't even know that was an office that existed. All because she pulled her mask down because her friend couldn't understand her during a project. I raised my kids not to cry. My kid cried when she asked me why the cop that was telling her to put her mask on wasn't wearing a mask inside. She should have socked him in the throat. Pat, you said that principal was going to apologize to my daughter, and he still has not. The law enforcement in here, you're right. We do have a room full of Let's Go Brandons. This room, these are the ones that are going to stop on the side of the road when you're getting your ass kicked at a traffic stop. And you give me 3 minutes to calm down, and I'll take any one of you law enforcement officers on this stage, and we'll see how badass you are. Now listen, that's not a threat. When that fine lady, okay, the first speaker was June, was right here, and all I wanted him to do is understand her right of freedom of speech by putting those gifted bags up on the stage, which are obviously up there wherever that officer's at. You didn't care about that, okay? It's easy to say you don't care. You might not have a kid. But let me tell you, when you say you don't care in front of a parent, our first thought, we want to sock you in the throat. But we will still stop an hour later and save your life when some scumbag is kicking your ass. Bender, you have taught me
sayings that I use on a weekly basis. Okay? So you just shook your head at a Biden comment and a Newsom comment. And I'm sorry that you had to go through what you had to go through at the last meeting, but I don't think you have the right to tell anybody in here that's like-minded to shut up. And Pat, my daughter deserves an apology.
Thank you.
These are the additional.
Tisha Morrison.
Good evening. I've met you all before. I've spoken at meetings here and at the San Bernardino County meetings. I've held Where's Trinae Nelson signs on Bear Valley Road, waiting for her to help us out. And I've taken a phone call from her, and we had a hour-ish conversation. And then the following board meeting, I didn't show up. I apologize, but she lied about me. So I want you all to know that what she said at that board meeting about the parent that you called was a lie. And I emailed you after, and I let you know what the lies were. So I asked you for help. You promised me a meeting with the California Department of Public Health. You waited 5 weeks-ish. Then you sent me an email and said, sorry, you can't help that anymore. Well, don't worry. I got the meeting. I got it from another school. Somebody else helped me out. So I've lost all faith in the people sitting here because you've done diddly squat for us. You've done nothing for our children. You have not helped us one bit. You shake your heads, you scowl at us, you give us dirty looks, and in no way have you done anything to protect our children. My calling in life has been to protect children. I teach children about God. I coach children in softball. I coach at the school district. I love children, and that's what all of you are supposed to be here to do, or you chose this job because you love children, but you're not protecting them. You're willing to poison them. You're going to poison our kids because some idiot decides that everyone needs to have this vaccine so you can make money. It's not acceptable. So I want to know who's going to stand up and fight for our kids. That's my question. My statement to you is my children will not be in Apple Valley Unified School District as of January 1st if you enforce this.
Belinda Griffith. Belinda Griffith.
Hi.
Okay.
I just want to start off by saying I love working for AVUSD. My husband, our two children, and I have gone to Apple schools since kindergarten, and we are invested in this community. Bender, you used to feed my son, or not my son, I'm sorry, my husband, because you thought he was too skinny in high school, back in the 2000s. I appreciate that. I'm speaking today to seek clarification on an issue which is very known, but I've been hearing a little bit of different things. A lot of people are under the impression that at the end of the last board meeting, you unanimously agreed on receiving $25 million in exchange for compliance to the CDC's guidelines. I couldn't find any information on this, but I believe it is the ESSER funds, which I know are hugely important. I think that's how I get paid. But I don't care. I'm willing to do whatever for my children. At the last board meeting, many of you seemed in agreement with the parents who are against imposing a vaccination on the students. But what confuses me is why directly after your statements, you accepted that money and agreed to follow the guidelines. While this resolution seems like a step in the right direction, I'm concerned that it's merely for show. I feel it would be wise of you to clear up any misunderstandings. And that is one thing, well, I'm going to skip that part. I respect you guys. I'll say that. I respect you guys, and I don't know if I'm naive, but I honestly, Trinae, I feel like you do any rumors or anything, like you do face them head on. I don't know if I'm naive. I hope not. But I've always respected that when I've seen you do that. And it feels silly now at this point, but I also ask that you would extend this resolution to include your staff, and that you would also add the issue of testing to your resolution, because I also will not subject my kids, I can see that coming down the pike, to third-party testing or extremely inconvenient weekly testing like the AVUSD staff is currently being asked to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Dixie Griffith. Dixie Griffith.
Hi, my name is Dixie Griffith, and I am a 13-year-old student at Vanguard. I have been there since kindergarten. Hi, my name is Dixie Griffith, and I am a 13-year-old student at Vanguard. I have been there since kindergarten with a bunch of my cousins and friends. I love my school. It is home to me. The mRNA vaccine is experimental. I know I am young, but I can understand that it is wrong to force children as young as 5 years old to get the vaccine. I bet healthcare companies are going to make a lot of money off of my generation from all the side effects and ailments that come from the COVID-19 vaccination, and that this is so wrong. Please do not force this vaccination on my friends and family at school. Thank you.
Clint Griffith. Clint.
Hello, my name is Clint Griffith. I like my school, but my parents are prepared to pull me out of AVUSD if it enforces COVID-19 vaccination for students. I will be very sad to leave my school, but even though I am young, I understand and agree. My aunts and uncles who have children in this school district also agree. Just with our family alone, AVUSD will lose 10 students. We are proud to be a part of the AVUSD family alone, but there is a growing concern about heart problems developing in young men who have gotten the vaccine. I will be devastated if one of my friends at school has a bad reaction due to this vaccine. Please do not put kids' health at risk by forcing this vaccine on the students. Thank you.
Susan Ellis.
Good evening. My name is Susan Ellis. I'm a wife of a retired Navy sailor and a retired CHP officer. I am a mother of 3, and 2 are now adults. One is what I say under construction. He's in the 11th grade at AAE. Next year, my grandson will enter kindergarten at AAE. As a Navy wife, I learned to watch the world and my country. As a Chippy wife, I learned to watch the state. As more and more of our constitutional rights have been violated, I learned to watch the county. I'm sure all parents here have been watching Florida, Texas, and Loudoun County in Virginia, as I have. When I was young, a friend taught me something that changed my life. She said, he taught me something that changed my life, and in turn, it taught me how to look at my world, my community, my state. He told me this: do you know how to tell when someone is lying? Watch to see if their actions match their words. If they don't match, there is a lie in there somewhere. So I watched the media describe riots as peaceful and January 6th as insurrection. I watched Congress before a photo shoot last month milling around each other like it's a church potluck, but put on masks for the photo. There's a lie in there somewhere. I watched our governor shut down businesses and schools, but sent his own kids into in-person private school. I watched my friends do their own dye jobs and go without getting their nails done, but the Speaker of the House and our governor had perfectly coiffed hair at every TV appearance. There is a lie in there somewhere. We are expected to believe that a man who campaigned from his basement beat a man who drew thousands to every rally. We are expected to believe that COVID is so deadly that hundreds of thousands will die from it. Yet we find out that some of those numbers included people that died from car accidents and other health issues, but happened to test positive for COVID. Then we find out that the hospitals get more COVID money for each COVID case. We're expected to believe that an experimental drug is safe, yet teenagers have died after the second dose or developed myocarditis. Do you see why we, the people, no longer trust our government? We can just go about anywhere in the high desert without a mask. We can walk through a restaurant, sit down for 2 hours, sit next to perfect strangers, all without a mask, yet our children can't sit at their own desk for a 50-minute class. What we are being told by the media, our government, and those so-called scientists in the health department does not match what we see in the real world. There is a lie in there somewhere. When respected and credentialed doctors like Dr. Peter McCullough in Dallas, who treat COVID patients, say that early treatment should be the priority, not vaccines, and then those outspoken doctors are stripped of their credentials and lose positions on medical boards, we tend to think that this is political and not about health. When those same doctors say giving someone a vaccine that has natural immunity can cause more damage, and that ivermectin and hydrochloroquine are effective treatments, but the FDA says that the meds are not approved for COVID, but the experimental drug is.
Thank you. Your
There
time's
is a
up.
lie in there somewhere. I
Thank
just have
you.
one paragraph, just one. Now we're told that a third of our military faces discharge due to vaccine mandates. A third. If this doesn't terrify every person in this room, then you're living in a world that does not exist. These are men and women that are willing to die for our country, our Constitution. It is little wonder that they're willing to fall on their sword to protect their own constitutional rights. We, the people, are here to stand for ours. More importantly, we're here to stand for our kids. I leave you with this. We know you say you want the best for our kids. Do you have the courage to tell this governor we will not comply? Are you willing to fall on your own sword to protect the constitutional rights of our children? Are you willing to stand with us? I sincerely hope you do. We, the people, are watching.
Now, before we go on, I need to remind all of you, we have a board policy that was approved before I became a board member that says that all comments must be no more than 3 minutes. So I am not going to entertain any further inconvenience from anybody in this crowd telling me to take my mic off or to disregard the board policy. So our board policy is 3 minutes, and that's the way it's going to be. Thank you. Raquel Vizcarra. Is Raquel here? Brian? Okay, go ahead, Raquel. Sorry about that.
God bless you all. My name is Raquel Vizcarra, but AVUSD has known me as Raquel Montian since 1993, when I started kindergarten. I worked for AVUSD for a short period of time, which taught me the love of education, which also I thank you guys because I am where I am now. I'm now also a parent in this district. I'm here concerned. Please listen to your students, to your parents, and to your employees. According to the CDC website, there is a 99.9% survival rate of COVID-19 in young children. Yet you want us to put something in our children's body that can potentially have more harm? Earlier this month, on October 6th, Sweden and Denmark stated that they are pausing the use of Moderna vaccines for people born in 1991 and later due to an increase of myocarditis and pericarditis among younger age groups who have been vaccinated. Finland also joined shortly after. Furthermore, and hitting closer to home, according to Dr. Laura Norton, a doctor and biochemist from San Bernardino, who recently spoke at a Fontana board meeting, said that she has personally witnessed young adults who have received the vaccine with myocarditis, and goes on to state that some of these young men and women are athletes in good health prior to the vaccine. Now, how am I supposed to feel with my son who has asthma and has allergies that affect the lungs and airways as it is? These vaccines are not helping the way they should. CDC has also come out and said that even with people with vaccines can get and transmit COVID. So what does it do? Reduce the risk? A risk in which adults have a 99.6% of survival rate? Will you be personally taking responsibility if something goes wrong? Are you going to pay for hospital trips and treatments or compensate that mother and father who loses their child due to adverse effects? Or better yet, are you going to provide the family wages of a parent or employee who loses their parents due to your mandates of experimental vaccines? As a parent, I'm not willing to take that chance and find out. I prayed 8 years, waited 9 months, and had 3 days of painful labor and survived a heart attack to have my son.
Thank you.
Therefore, God entrusted him into my life, and it is my job to teach him God's ways and our family values. Therefore, I choose his health care. Your job is simple. Teach him academics. So I tell
Thank you.
you,
Thank you.
when you come before the Lord, will he say to you, well done, good and faithful servant?
Bowers. Brian Bowers.
Thank you. I'm going to give out some numbers and statistics about school-age children, since that's what we are talking about. From the California State website, the state of California, 0 to 17-year-olds account for about 22% of California's population, about 8.8 million kids. But they only accounted for about 14.8% of the COVID vaccinations, and only 0.01% of COVID deaths. Actually, a total of 37 deaths with pre-existing conditions in the whole entire state from that age group of 0 to 17. 37 deaths out of 8.8 million kids. Now, this information is from the National Vaccine Information Center, where the age group of 12 to 18, not including 0 to 11, but only 12 to 18-year-olds. There's been 25 deaths from the COVID vaccines. Also from the vaccine in that age group, there's been 432 reports of heart inflammation and 86 cases of blood clotting. Now, jumping to an overall picture, but still the same report, as of last Friday, in the U.S., there's been 818,044 adverse effects, 117,339, which were serious, and 17,120 deaths from taking a COVID vaccine. When it comes to this vaccine, we do not know the long-term effects, and we all know that people that have gotten 1 or 2 shots are still testing positive, and they are still dying. I'm not against vaccines, but I am against vaccine mandates and the loss of my freedom of choice when it comes to the health of my daughter. If a parent makes the decision to get their kids vaccinated, I support that. It is their God-given right to do it, but you should not force your choices upon me. Our own governor, who is making these mandates, has not even vaccinated his 12-year-old daughter. That's from Yahoo News. And she goes to a private school. This is the same man that mandated masks and closed restaurants, but was seen dining without a mask with a group of friends during the height of the so-called pandemic. And if COVID vaccinations are so seriously needed, then why did the governor also seek an exemption from a union that donated $1.57 million to help fight his recall campaign? Also remember that pharmaceutical companies cannot be held liable for any wrongdoing. I know about 18 months ago, we were all a little scared, but at this point, it's getting ridiculous. I'm asking that you stand up and make a moral decision to say no. No to a dictator of a government that doesn't follow his own rules. No to a vaccine mandate that isn't even based on science and numbers. No to the continued effort to divide neighborhoods, neighbors, friends, and families. No to the flip-flopping and lies. This is our communities, and this is our community, and these are our children. You all have been put in a position of authority and trust. Forcing someone to do something is not being a leader. I'm not sure if you're all worried about losing your jobs or losing your funding, but know that this community has your backs if you have the guts to do the right things. Stand with us.
Sierra McCormick. I thought that was.
Good evening. I am a 2019 and a 2020 AVHS graduate. Good evening, Mr. Conrad. I'm standing here because I have adverse reactions every day. I also agree that this is very nerve-wracking to stand up here. I don't know how all of you do it. It's very nerve-wracking. I'm not just a student, but I'm also a mother. And when I chose to get the COVID-19 Pfizer vaccine, I was breastfeeding my 6-month-old son. It is a very difficult decision to get something implanted into my body that carries another woman's fetus. And as it has been shown, this Pfizer vaccine, as well as other vaccines, carry other DNA. And when we put this DNA that is not our own into our bodies, we are then changing our DNA. We do not own ourselves at this point. That is a very big concern of mine. Because I put this into my body, I'm now putting that into my son's body as I'm still partially breastfeeding him. When we put these things into our children who have not finished developing their body, their mind, and their education, as you guys are all aware, that is what you take care of, it is a concern. I speak for all of the parents as well as you, which I'm sure many of you are parents. Please do your job to stand up for all of us. Today, right before I came here, I had to take another medication in order to stop the side effects that I have. I now have to carry 2 EpiPens on me everywhere I go. The ER has seen me multiple times. I had to wake my family up, my parents standing in the back at 2 o'clock in the morning because I could not care for my son because of the side effects that I have. I now have hives that go from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. Sometimes I cannot walk because of how painful it is. My skin has begun to peel. My throat has begun to close. My son is 1 year old in 2 weeks. When I graduated high school, I was pregnant with my son and I walked across that stage, quote unquote. It was more like a parking lot. Because of this plandemic. It is not a pandemic, it is a plandemic. This COVID-19 issue is an issue and it does affect many people here today. And it has affected myself. I'm concerned that when I put my son into your guys' hands as he grows up, that he's going to have so many side effects that he may not be able to learn in the future. This vaccine changes and alters our brain. It alters our community. And not only does it alter our community, our young, as well as myself, because I am very young, it's going to change our entire community. It's going to change our country. When
Thank
you
you. Your
change our
time's up.
brains,
Thank you.
thank you, ma'am. When you change our brains, you change the community. You guys are very important. Every single one of your role. I ask that you please do what is right for my son, for all of our sons, and for our community and our country. You can stand up. And as another fellow man said, we will support you.
Is
Thank
Joe
you.
Sherman here? Joe Sherman. Hearing none, I assume Joe is no longer. Okay.
Must be
Thank
the
you.
spotlights for you.
Thank you, Mr. Joe.
Okay, so I don't need to repeat. I'm on board with all these people. Maybe some of you are, Mr. Conrad. You taught me at some point in time. I've been here 39 years, born and raised in this place. And you guys are responsible for my education and my kids' education. I got a sophomore and a senior right now. My son doesn't have to worry about what decisions you're going to make on this, but my daughter does. My 15-year-old daughter is afraid to get a vaccine because she doesn't know what the effects are going to be the long term. She wants to have kids. She doesn't know. The reality is that we don't know what they are. Now, I got the vaccine, okay? I got one of them because no big deal for me. But my wife and my kids haven't, and it's their choice. And it's every single person out here's choice, okay? It's all their choice. So when you write language that says, we're going to basically stand against what you're saying because the Sacramento can't come up with a logical reason or make sense of all of their mandates, and we're not going to impose something until they tell us to, that's not standing up for us. It's not standing up for any of these people. Okay, so you're the front line. Do what the other places have done that are telling this state, no, we're not going to be doing this, because last time I checked, when I just got my tax statement, that 52% of my taxes go to school boards to pay, right? Check that. That means that everybody that gets paid by that works for us. So don't forget that, okay? This is democracy. We're upset. We want you to represent us.
Thank you. Do you have any more cards? Any more cards? Thank you. Superintendent's comment.
I appreciate the comments tonight. I know that there are some, doesn't seem to matter what I say. There's going to be a negative content based on anything that I say, positive support or not. As a parent in this district and as the superintendent, I believe in a parent's choice for the decisions of their child. And I will continue to work towards that. I am the superintendent that is hired for the district. I know that.
Let her talk.
Thank you. I'm done.
Please continue. Please continue. Please continue.
I want to hear what you have to say. This is your district. We want to hear what you have to say. Seriously. Now it is. Wait, no. Don't take the easy way out.
I will draft something and put it in writing to our families in this district and to our staff. I don't agree with the requirements that are being put down by the state of California. I believe that they are put in a political sense and that we are being divided as a community and our staffs are being divided. I want to support every staff member, every student in this district to continue to get the education that they deserve. And I will continue to work towards that. But whatever anybody believes about me is what they will continue to believe. So when I'm accused of lying, when I'm accused of running for a position, I am not in a position that was elected. I'm in a position that I work at the direction of the board, and I will continue to do so for the benefit of the students in this district.
Mr. Nunez.
Thank you. So we have to remember that this is something that impacts not just those in this room or those that have students in this room. It's the entire district, and this board will represent the entire district. We were asked where we felt on the masks and where we felt on the state mandates. Let me start with the vaccine mandate. Let me start by saying that much like this gentleman, when vaccines came out, me and my wife, we went right out and we got it with every intention of encouraging our friends to do so for the specific point of hoping and ensuring that our students, that our children would not have to get a vaccine and be forced to get one at a very rapid rate too soon. So that is still the intent that we have, is to make sure that we can make sure that those parents that do want to get their, I'm sorry, is this, it's okay? So that those parents who do want to get their kids vaccine can. Those that don't, those that prefer to wait and see, can. So if the vaccine mandate is going to come down, we as a board, we as a community are going to be looking for medical exemptions, personal exemptions, to make sure that you as parents are able to protect your children in the way that you see fit. Allow me. When it comes to testing for adults and staff, I think that there's alternative methods that could be used. So I, as somebody who has a vaccine card, you're right, I can show that, I don't have to do that. Somebody who hasn't had a vaccine, there's other means. So many of our county has been ravaged by COVID-19, has had COVID-19. Those folks should be able to take an antibodies test and show that antibodies test. That makes common sense, right? Right? Rather than having a nose swab every week, here's an alternative. Perhaps rather than having a nose swab, some people don't have a problem with that, maybe having the opportunity to do a spit test. We're looking for funding and resources in order to be able to offer. Allow me. Hold on just a moment. We need alternatives because one size does not fit all. We have parents here and students and faculty who are perfectly healthy and can handle it, no problem. We have faculty and staff that has underlying conditions. We have faculty and staff who've gotten one vaccine and had a terrible reaction to where they can't get the second shot based on doctor recommendations. So those folks still have to provide testing and things of that nature, okay? So these are things that need to be equalized, absolutely. And that's why we're working to try to get those exemptions right now and figure out what's going on right now. Up until this point, I'm sure many of you have read and heard, it's just been a press conference so far. That's all that's been sent down. We need direction, we need guidance, we need to find out exactly what is being asked of us so that we can find those accommodations. When it comes to masks, as of June, the state of California lost their colored tiered guidance as far as what to expect and at what point we could actually move out of using masks indoors. Since June, we've been without that guidance. That sure seems pretty unfair for a community who is driven to get back to normal as quickly as possible. If we don't know what we're working on, that makes it really difficult, doesn't it? So we need to be fighting to find out what is the new expectations that are going to be set forth for us so that we can get there and get rid of them. In the meantime, we have students with cerebral palsy, immunocompromisations, staff and teachers who are showing up every day to make sure that they can keep everyone safe and in classes. Your students, we need to keep them in class. So let's do that work to figure it out.
Good. Thank you. Mr. So.
I'm going to keep my short.
I just want the parents to know that we do care and we do listen to you, and we're going to work with you. And I agree. And the comments about the governor and all the stupid things happen in Sacramento, even in Washington, D.C., we as a country got to stand up against these ridiculous implementations. Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm going to be brief here. I am totally opposed to mandatory vaccinations. I have two 13-year-old granddaughters. They don't want it. I don't want them to get it. This is all about control. The purpose of this meeting was to find out what you want. Even if I was reading with Braille, I know what you want. I'm just telling you right now that we're trying to figure out a way that we can meet this head on and have a positive result. Thank you.
Mr. Raleigh.
Sure, thank you. Well, this is not just an Apple Valley issue. This is a nationwide movement. In my 62 years, I never would have thought that we would see what's occurring, not just in the state of California, but in the country of the United States at this time. Now, what we're going to do tonight is we have the resolution, and it's big words on it. It says draft, okay? So what a draft is, we're just throwing it out there. It can be changed. So what we need to do, what's going to happen next is we have to make a motion to adopt a resolution. Then we have a discussion about if we want it to remain the way it is, or if we're going to reword, add, delete, or change anything on it. Then if we come to a consensus on that, then we vote on it, and we're done with this resolution. So that's what's going to happen next. So I want to say that my personal opinion, I believe it was the firefighter that got up on number 2. He asked, I'll answer. We don't really debate back and forth. I personally don't like masks with children. I don't like vaccines unless it's a parent's choice. That doesn't go for smallpox and polio and all that. We've all been vaccinated out over the years, but those are diseases that are cured by the vaccine. Obviously, we know the difference, okay? So that's the next step. So I'll...
You have our prayers, Rick.
Okay. Thank you for your time so far. We'll get down to business shortly.
All right, we'll get to this as soon as we finish the comments. I also don't believe that we should be mandating anything right now. That was the beauty of coming to this country where you do have rights. The last board meeting, I told you about my joys of coming into a country where I had rights. And I've served as a teacher, as an administrator, a principal, and also as a university supervisor. And I'm currently working at a university level. So when we enroll our students in the primary school, in my country we call it primary, you call it elementary school, but it's primary school. You ask for their short records. And when you ask for those short records, parent has a right to opt out. A parent has a right to say, I don't want my child to get that shot because of religious basis. I just happen to be one of those parents that did the opt-out for one child of mine, and I have 5 children, but I opted out of 1. And the reason I opted out of 1 was that that was my only son, and I was not taking chances. And so for those of you that pretty much have an idea of who I am, those that don't have the idea, I think with time you'll figure it out, that I speak my mind, even if I have to stand alone. And at this point in time, I think you all need to be aware of the fact that as a board, we are going to protect the rights of all children. And that includes your children. And so, if there are parents who want to give their children shots, they could have at it. And if you have parents that don't want to give their children shots, they also could have at it. They have those rights. So as a board, we are going to begin to have those serious conversations about what is best for each individual. Well, I'm the only... Well, please keep in mind that we represent the parents who want their children vaccinated, and we also represent the parents who don't want their children vaccinated. So we've got to remember that we are representing all kids, all parents. If you bear with us, let us go through the resolution, and then you will hear our debates. Because for the first time on this board, we are going to debate what we see we want and what we don't want. And then we begin to really put pencil onto paper. Thank you so much for your time. Oh, you spilled water.
These lights are bright. You can't even see out there.
It
It's
is
like-
recommended that the Board of Trustees discuss and take action on the following items. Adopt resolution number 2122-05 regarding COVID-related public health guidance. Should I read it now? And before we make the resolution, we adopt the resolution or not adopt the resolution, I would like the board clerk to read.
Okay, so bear with me here. I'm going to read this in entirely the draft, okay? So then, once we do the read, then we'll open for discussion and any changes if the board sees fit. Okay. Okay, let's see where we're at. Okay, the Board of Trustees of the Apple Valley Unified School District hereby acknowledges that whereas the guidance provided by state and local government agencies and health officers has been inconsistent, frequently changing, and containing a mix of mandates and recommendations, and whereas on October 1st, 2021, Governor Newsom issued a press release and additional information indicating that he is directing CDPH to require COVID-19 vaccination for all K through 12 students, effective 1st of January or July 1st. Following full approval by the Federal Food and Drug Administration, FDA, of COVID-19 vaccine for students in the following grade spans K6 and 7 through 12. The additional information published along with the press release indicates the vaccine requirement will also apply to K-12 school employees serving students in those grade spans. And whereas current law provides that 10 currently mandated vaccines are required prior to the first student's admission to a given school, subject only to a narrow medical exemption, and the additional vaccines, including COVID-19 vaccines, may be required, but will be subject to broader medical and personal belief exemptions. Whereas a joint statement issued by California Health and Human Services Agency Secretary Dr. Mac Gailey and California Department of Public Health Director and State Public Health Officer Dr. Thomas Aragon on October 20th, 2021, which reaffirmed the state's approach to preventing COVID-19 in schools and protecting our students' health, continuing the state's masking requirements in K through 12 settings, including the following legal requirements for schools to implement universal masking. California Department of Health and Guidance for K-12 schools requires mandatory universal masking indoors K through 12 settings and limited exemptions as specified in general guidance for use of face coverings. The guidance also requires schools to develop and implement local protocols to enforce the mask requirements, but schools do not have discretion or authority to opt from enforcing the requirement. And whereas the ability to see, appreciate, and communicate through facial expressions is crucial to a student's social development, mental health, and physical well-being. And mask wearing may disproportionately impact students who are hearing impaired or those attempts to learn English as a second language, as it may impede their ability to process, understand, and emulate spoken language. And whereas the ability to participate in extracurricular activities is of critical importance, and the current quarantine recommendations for close contact exposes allow for students to return to the classroom instruction under modified quarantine. And yet, those students may not return to extracurricular activities until at least the 8th day of close contact. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Apple Valley Unified School Board of Education requests the state to work expeditiously to provide consistent and timely guidance for schools that appropriately allow mask wearing to be optional when conditions warrant, and to clarify what those local benchmarks would, and be it further resolved that the Apple Valley Unified School Board of Education requests the state to restore local authority to create and implement COVID-19 safety plans, including guidelines for masks, quarantines, vaccinations, and establishment of normal classroom instruction tailored to local conditions. And be it further resolved that the Apple Valley Unified School District Board of Education believes that parental choice in vaccination and other health decisions is important. And be it further resolved that the Apple Valley Unified School District will not implement a vaccine requirement unless and until one is imposed by the state of local health officers. And finally, be it further resolved that the superintendent of Apple Valley Unified School District is directed to transmit this resolution to Governor Gavin Newsom, State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony Thurmond, Director of State Health Officer, CDPH, Dr. Thomas Aragon, Dr. Mark Gailey, California Health and Human Services, Colonel Paul Cook, San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors, Senator Scott Wilkes, Assemblyman Thurston Smith, and San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, Ted Alejandre, to make known the desires expressed by the Apple Valley Unified School Board of Education regarding public health decisions related to COVID-19. Thank you. So with that.
Okay. I need a motion to adopt the resolution as is. Do I have a motion?
Okay, I will.
We'll make the motion and then we go to discussion.
Right, I'll make the motion to approve, and then we're going to open it up to discussion.
Correct.
And if we can make changes if necessary.
I'll
Correct.
second it.
Okay.
Okay, so Mr. Raleigh makes the motion to approve, to adopt. And then Mr. So seconds it. All in favor? Any opposed?
No, I'm opposed.
No,
We don't vote yet.
we don't vote.
So now
don't
we're
vote.
going to go to
Discussion. We go to this discussion.
We go to discussion.
Okay.
All right.
So what I will do here, I like to open a discussion up. I think a lot of this is what we call boilerplate, okay? It's just fill in the blanks, and that there is some meat in this as well. But I do want to say that I would like to make some omissions from it and a few additions to it. So let me just throw it out there, and then we'll open it for discussion. So I would like to go down to the last second to last paragraph.
Yeah.
Well, no, we can delete a few,
The
add a
second,
few.
the
So
second to
hear me
last.
out. Okay.
Can I read that so that
So
everybody can
basically,
hear
it's
it?
here's what I like to say. Be it further resolved that the Apple Valley Unified School District will not implement a vaccine requirement if one is imposed by state and local health officers.
Okay. All right.
I second that.
All right. So we go to that. As we are listening to that, Mr. I'm going to go from the back and then work our way down
So
because
that's
what
the
we
motion on the table
floor.
at this
Is it
point
a modified?
for that, and then we open it for discussion.
It's amended motion, yeah.
Well,
You want to comment?
that's not.
I would like to go right back to what we discussed, that we will go line by line to figure out what everybody wants.
Right.
Thank you. Mr. Nunez, do you have any changes that we need to look at? Because I need us to look at it and then make the motion for all the changes.
I don't have any changes to the resolution that I'd like to make. I will be in a future time presenting additional actions that we as a board can take, but for the time being, I'll pass.
Okay. Did you get that? Okay. No, we're still going.
We're going and voting now.
For all the board members. Mr. So, do you have any?
I think Mr. Rowley's suggestion that if I'm okay with it right now, and we'll, even if we adopt it, the community can still review it and provide input back to us.
Okay.
Okay?
So you're in favor of it?
I'm in favor of it, but I want,
You can't be a little bit pregnant. You got to be one way or the other.
He's favored too.
This is my challenge as we are going through this step by step. I am concerned about the fourth paragraph. And that's where my biggest concern sits. And it's on the last, second to the last sentence, that it says universal masking indoors in K-12 setting with limited exemption as specified in the general guidance for use of face coverings. I am challenged in terms of the masking. So that's my challenge. And everybody has a challenge in terms of the vaccine. That's his challenge, and my partners, that's their challenge. But vaccine and masking, they travel together. So now that we have that on the table,
Okay, so
the motion was to scratch the last paragraph, that last second to the last, be it further resolved.
it's only scratching a few words, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but if you change the full words, the question that I have is, if the state mandates us and it becomes law, are we going to say we are not following the law of the land?
That's my question.
It's a resolution that this board supports the parent's choice
Correct.
and that we do not wish to impose the mandate on the children. So if there's a child in school and they're not vaccinated, we're not going to remove the child from the class. So I guess yes, that's what it says.
I ask this question because it is required in terms of clarification. Um, so this is one of those areas that I have to get real clarification. Because if it becomes law in the state of California, we are sworn as members of the office to obey the Constitution of the United States and the laws of the state of California. So we need to pay attention as we make the decision that if it becomes law in the state of California, then we don't have a prayer. Do we understand that portion? Okay, so all right, so if because this is a board of majority, may I speak, please? This board runs on majority vote. So if the majority has the vote, then we will make the change based on that. But that change will also occur by making sure that the other parents who do not have the same issues of no vaccine will be at the seat of the table to also have a discussion. Okay. So what is your vote? Mr. I'm going to take a personal vote so that I make sure that I get everybody's personal votes.
Can we clarify what we are voting on, please?
We're voting on making the change as Mr. Raleigh has proposed, that the Apple Valley Unified School District will not implement a vaccine requirements if one is imposed by the state or local health office.
Officers.
Period. That's the language you all want to see in the contract, right? Thank you.
It includes everybody. It's a mandate for schools, for the school district.
Okay. Do we have any other? Let me go back. So we've made the change for that one. Did you write it down, Kelly? Okay. Do we have any other changes in this resolution before we send it out to press and print it and then come back and have a conversation? Yeah. Can we need to vote. We need to vote. The board does not entertain conversations from the floor. So do we have a vote? Mr. Nunez, what's your vote?
I vote yes for that change.
Okay. Mr. Wilson? Mr. Wilson, do we have a vote?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Bender, do we have your vote?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Raleigh, do we have a vote?
Aye.
Aye. And it's aye for me. Okay. All right. All right. We're going to go to the closing items. Our closing item, do we have anything for future items? I think for future item, we should now bring the final document to approve by the board, right? Oh, you're not. Your mic's not on. Since I've taken a vote, the board can sign it at the end and have it done. Thank you. So, do we have any future items? Any future items from the board?
Well, let's go ahead and maybe we can discuss if after this resolution, the issue of the masks is going to come up again as well. We can agendize that in the future since it's already been implemented, so we can just have something for the next board meeting on that as well.
Yeah. The resolution has it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the resolution had it.
We've already voted on it.
Yeah, and it has it. It has the masking.
Okay, we're good then. Okay.
Good. Yeah,
It's in the resolution.
It's in the
Keep it moving.
superintendent comment. Your mic is always off.
It says it's on. I apologize. There, Kylie's fixing it, but it's been on the whole time. So, at your seat, I provided 3 emails. 2 are in support of the draft resolution, and 1 from a resident of Arizona who wanted to address the board regarding COVID vaccine mandates. I think we've addressed that tonight. In a positive things that are going on in the district, AVCI, the Apple Valley Center for Innovation, had its first student field trip today. We're thrilled to have students back once again experiencing hands-on with the opportunity to work with the Gillettes and continue the passion for STEM. We are currently in a WASC full study here at Granite Hills High School. The visiting team was virtual. Some of the board members joined our entrance yesterday of the WASC team. This is very different. We've never done it this way. They will walk, the WASC team is not released to visit schools in person, so the staff here at Granite Hills High School is taking iPads classroom to classroom to validate the self-study. Granite Hills High School is in the playoffs after 10 years for their football team. Coach Gonzalez has worked hard to build upon the talent of his school and his incredible group of young men going out weekly and competing. Friday was able to watch the dress rehearsal for the Great Academy here on this stage. Their production of Super Freak was a talented group of young students. Not only did they perform, but they're completely trained in how to run the state-of-the-art sound system, lighting, and everything that happens up behind the scenes here. AVHS, I want to again send my condolences to the family, the Andrews family. We have several students within the district, and the AVHS family. The community has been impacted by the loss of Lawrence. So many people, it was a visible thing, and it has just traumatized so many. And so we know that many are overwhelmed. I appreciate the offers of support from the other school districts to the families, the students and staff at Apple Valley High School and our other schools that were impacted. Whenever there's a tragedy, we are fortunate to have a crisis intervention team, and our students, we have a group of student peers that I have to say at 6:30 in the morning as they walked to the library ready to meet the students that they were going to help, had a realization that their training was going to have to go into effect that day. I know those students leave after multiple days of supporting others, truly understanding what that training is about, and they grow from it. And so we will continue to serve the students and the staffs with the needs because of this trauma. So anybody impacted by that is struggling, the services continue. So you just need to let your site administration know or the district office, and we will get you connected. Again, condolences to the Andrews family and to all those that were impacted. Thank you.
Mr. Raleigh.
Just everybody drive home safe tonight. Appreciate everybody coming out. Hopefully, other districts will follow suit, and we can maybe be a groundswell in California.
Mr. Bender.
In the words of American patriot, these are the times that try men. So you're real patriots. Go home.
Mrs. Sell.
No, I just want to wish everybody safe, and definitely we're concerned about safety of all our students. I mean, I have 3 daughters graduated from FR High School, and they all received a doctorate because of wonderful teachers at the high school, and I want all of us to stay safe. And in fact, when I look at the accident happened recently, being a past city engineer, I say maybe the town need to address some of the safety issues too. I'm thinking about the township applied for loan. They put a crossing over Bear Valley Road into FR High School. See that we have a number of accidents over there. Okay, thanks.
Mr. Nunez.
Thank you. I just want to give a big shout out and thank you to the bakery and culinary programs at Apple Valley High School and Granite Hills. This last week, they represented all of us well at High Desert Opportunity Summit, and they showed our local business community the high caliber of students that Apple Valley Unified puts out.
And it comes to me, I just want to take this time to thank all of you for being persistent, for never giving up. I wish I could step down and give each one of you a hug, but they want social distancing. But on a more serious note, for the parent who is really worried about Apple Valley High School and the parking lot, we hear you. I'm hoping that starting tomorrow, we will mobilize more of our peace officers to make sure that people are keeping our children safe as they drive into our parking lots. That's extremely important. We don't want to have a funeral for any one of our little babies that we send off to school. When I sit here, I think of something. I always try my best to bring a little bit of my history to a board meeting because I want you to know who I am as a person, not as a board member. When I was growing up, my parents taught me that it is very important not to be in a melting pot, but to be in a salad bowl. And they said, for you to be in a salad bowl, that means the carrot still has an identity. And the cucumber has an identity. The mushroom has an identity. And all of those ingredients is what makes a salad. But the main thing about salad is the dressing, which is the harmony you bring into it. So I am hoping that by the time we are done here, that you would have earned the harmony that we are all trying to build. Thank you so much for your time and coming out.
Very poetic.
If we have no further dealings at this board, I am going to vote that I'm going to ask that we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed?
All right.
Thank you.